Are more and more sports card breakers turning into repackers? It looks to be that way. We are going to react by a video that I thought was pretty eye-opening that I watched here last night. Stick around. Hello to all my sports card hobby friends and family. How are we doing? It's another day. It's another sports card video. Thanks very much for joining me here today. How are you doing?
I think I finally got some sleep.
Before we dive in, huge thanks to today's video sponsor, Pristine Auction. I actually won a few items last night that I'm really pumped about. I can only talk about one of them though because the other two are gifts for my kids, so I will share those at a later date. But what I won for me are signed Dolph Lundgren Rocky IV trunks. I thought these were so cool. One thing about Pristine Auction that's really interesting is they run daily auctions. They even run 10-minute auctions where every 10 minutes they're starting something, no reserve bids at $1, and they're just flying. So definitely check out Pristine Auction. There are some cool deals to be had. Sports Card Dad code will get you $10 off the first auction that you win. So check out Pristine Auction in my link down below. All right, I was watching a recent show that just came out from Ken Sports Card Lessons. I've met Ken, good guy, content creator, puts out a podcast a couple times a week. And the one thing that I like about Ken's stuff is he gives the perspective of a card show dealer. He does a lot of card shows. So he is an active dealer in the space. Of course, he collects certain things. He's got PC stuff. But he's recounting back different shows and his experience and what went right and what went wrong. So I think this is valuable data when looking at what's going on at card shows. It's an active kind of feedback feed from a guy that's doing a lot of shows. So thank you, Ken. Recently, he had on Nick from Gold Seal Cards as a guest. And I thought it was, again, a very interesting story how Nick got into the hobby. And a lot of people have done this where they've kind of started a breaking company. They've looked at how can I get in, start a business in the hobby. A lot of people have tried to do this on the breaking side because breaking has become so popular, especially over the last 5, 6, 7 years. And it's just only gotten more and more popular over time. But what's become even more popular nowadays, or I guess what's coming out of this, repacks. You're seeing a lot of huge breakers, backyard breaks. You go on their website, all these different repack products that they're doing now. A lot of big breakers are moving into the repack business. I think for the breakers that are left, so much of it is revolving around or going to revolve around how much allocation that you're getting and then charismatic breakers that have a following. You like C-Blez or S-Blez or whatever, they're an interesting kind of family unit. They all have their quirks. But the one thing that they do bring to the table is energy, effort, excitement. They're charismatic. You know, they're all charismatic. They do kind of these funny marketing things that they do on IG. So whether you dislike them or like them or whatever, like their stuff, they are offering that entertainment value that I think that you're looking for in a breaker. Because let's face it, as consumers and then also as, breakers or customers of breaks, we are dealing in a world now where you have a lot of watered down product. You have higher print runs and higher prices. It's an absolute double whammy when it comes to new products. Just let that simmer, let that marinate. Higher print runs, higher prices, more parallels, which equals a diluted product. So you better have charismatic people that are running the break. You got to have people that are fun, that people are looking forward to hanging out with, because the more and more you see new product coming out and you rush online to watch, whether it be Pac-Man or whoever it is that's going to open boxes, it's more of people getting filleted, sizzled, getting absolutely smoked, buying into new product and breaks. But this isn't any sort of a secret. People talk about it like, hey, you should expect to get kicked in the face when you do this. And occasionally you're going to have people that are like, I got the winning golden ticket or whatever. But for the most part, no one's selling this as you're coming in here and you're going to make a killing in breaks. It's you're going to get smoked, but you also might get lucky once in a while and catch a lotto ticket that's worth something out of the batch. So this guy, Nick, got tired of not having control over the product. This is the one thing that I think is really interesting. And let me also say, full disclosure, I've said it here on the channel many times, I've never bought into a break and I've never bought into a repack. The gambling products of the hobby just are not of interest to me. I am a singles buyer, long-term holder, and I do buy and sell and flip some things short-term so that I can fund long-term buys. So that's how I operate in this hobby if you're new here. And so for Nick, what was happening here is that he was buying into these boxes, loose boxes, Panini products, and the customers were getting killed on them. And so I think this is kind of a thing too. And if you're someone that's doing this, how do you really feel great about it? You know, how do you really feel great when, 90% of the people that are buying into the product, if they're not feeling any sort of entertainment value, they're probably not coming back. They're probably a one and done customer. Maybe they do it a few times and they're like, you know what? This actually kind of sucks. I've just lost $200. I just lost $500, whatever it is. And so what Nick is doing, and what a lot of people have done, is the mystery box, the repack rise, allows people to create their own product. So as opposed to just relying on, oh my God, please let us get a good box tonight. Please let somebody get a hit so that it's not just, rage in the comment section or in the chat or whatever, and we actually have a happy customer, more happy customers. This is something where it's like, okay, we can have a little bit more control over the actual product itself. Now, I know there's a lot of repacks that suck, and there's a lot of repacks that are bogus. There's BS cards that go into repacks. There's people that are just trying to make a quick buck on a repack. And so the one thing I guess that's good about what's happening today, a lot more competition in repacks, way more competition. You don't have to settle for the gamble repack or whatever that flavor of the day dumbass repack product is that's going to come out. You can actually shop around and figure out, all right, do I like these guys? Do I think that they've got a good product or not? And so Nick explained the only way we could really feel like have a viable business is to go this route with the repack stuff. So heavy competition in breaks, obviously heavier competition in breaks as breakers, more and more people trying to get into it. Repacks has been a thing where I guess you control your own destiny to some degree. It's all about the inventory you have, the offering, the checklist, the price point. You can kind of come up with something where the customer gets to decide, is this a value to me or is this not a value to me? And I think that's where we've seen such a rise in repacks. There are the huge repack buyers, and there's also the high net worth repacks where you're buying it and you're putting down $1,000, $2,000, $3,000 into a repack, maybe more. But then you also have the chance to hit those larger cards. But the low end to mid end, and especially a lot of nice mid end cards, have been gobbled up here by repackers so that they can make that as kind of a big hit in the product. It's very interesting. It's very interesting because the hobby right now it's not so much reliant on new collectors coming in. Yes, we do have new collectors. We do have people that collect cards, but the repack products that are popping up all over the place, there's a lot of inventory that's needed for all these different products. And so you are seeing this stuff getting eaten up. You are seeing, card shows getting bought out. Guys at card shows that just buy out the table because they need, this person has exactly the kind of inventory I'm looking for. I'd love to get kind of a nice bulk deal here and put it into the repack product. We see it every weekend at these shows. But what's really interesting here, this popped up as a sponsored listing on my feed, and it was an MJ86 Fleer repack style product, mystery box. There's kind of a checklist that they add in here, but someone put money into this. Someone put money into this product. It looks to me like it's a $1,200 box, but then you have the opportunity to hit, signed 86 Fleer or signed, cards. There are hits in the product, but this is not a, fly-by-night type deal. I have no sort of connection or anything with the owner of this product. It's just something that popped up on my feed, and I was like, wow, this is interesting. I've never seen anything quite like this. But it is a mystery box repack type thing that is, I believe it's $1,100 or $1,200. They do have a checklist of players there. And of course, there's going to be some where you don't get $1,200 back. So I would consider this to be a high-end repack. But the actual box that it comes in, they put money into this. Whoever put this product together, this is not some BS little, pack, or they send you a Ziploc bag that's got cards in it. This actually is a box that gotten creative and made an actual box for this that looks cool. And then they've got sponsored ads on social media to sell it. Someone has invested money into this repack product. We've seen companies that have tried to do this too, that have kind of segged into this space. Arena Club is one that comes to mind, where it's a grading company marketplace type deal, but now all of a sudden it's a repack company as well. So you're seeing more and more of this. Will more and more breakers just say, screw it, we're going to do the repack thing? Will there just be an overabundance of repacks? One day what's going to happen though too is there's going to be repack companies that just don't make it because there's just too many different mystery box repacks options. Because that's also the other thing that could happen too. Competition is good, but what then happens is competition weeds out the other competition. You know, everyone weeds each other out, and the hopefully the best products, the most reliable ones, the best checklist, whatever, the most value to the customer that is a buyer of repacks, the cream rises to the top. That's the hope anyway. But this is a very interesting conversation. So check out Ken's video. I'll put a link in the video description. It's just an interesting conversation about a breaker turned repack seller and kind of the thought process behind it. I thought that it was an interesting watch. Guys, have an amazing day ahead. Stay healthy, stay awesome, and I will talk to you again later.